One and all, I'm a little bit early right now because I can. What is it we plan on doing today? All right. Oh, I almost forgot my pipe. Can't forget that. And I have to get the drill for this. So we are getting set up, so I am on a bit early. So everybody wants to jump in, jump in. So yes, I am a tad bit early. Some stuff that did come in I want to show you. And let you know what's going on with the plan. And do some assembly here. So if I screw it up, you guys get to watch. So, probably not going to be many people here. Okay. Just going to wait in for a little bit. Push my ender free against the wall. Move, you bastard. Okay. Crooked's okay. So, wait for my friends to show up now. Just waiting for all of you to show. As people laugh when they come in. What is it we're going to do today? Has something to do with this high pass turbo fan. What are we doing? All right. Matt, how's it going? Matt likes FNAF. So do my girls. They play it all the time. Welcome. I'm going to be going over some parts here pretty soon. And I'm going to be going over some assembly. Just to kind of get things going, to kind of see if everything makes up properly. And go from there. I still a lot printing going on, so there's going to be, I've got the rest of the bearing stator to finish printing, which part of it's on the plate right now. Then I've got the outer casing. Hey, thanks, I appreciate it. Well, thank you, I hope you have a great day too. So what I'm going to do is, I am a little bit early because I did say 7, so I was kind of waiting for people to drop in. This is going to be an interesting way to do this. So, all right, let me get the drill. And let's try not to break anything, shall we? All right. So before we get into that, I don't know how many people are here. If you're here watching what I'm doing right now, then say something in the comments, because it doesn't give me a proper count whatsoever. It's constantly off. That's the biggest pain in the ass. I'm telling you. And the analytics. Oh my gosh, the analytics. Ugh. It's like Chat GPT trying to do algebra. I'm talking about 3. It was alright with some stuff, but when I'm sitting there correcting it and teaching their language model algebra, then something's a little off. So yeah, we're just gonna chat. We're gonna build some stuff. Well, put some stuff together. Kind of show you what I did get in the mail today, so I can go over how this assembly process is gonna work and how we're gonna get this shaft, Gady, mounted to the fan using an index shaft, giggity. Basically to put everything together, and then run 8mm bolts. And it used to be like I'd run it with like 3. It started with 3s on the smaller fans, and then 4s, and then on this big fan. And it's a big fan. Don't get me wrong, 340mm, 22 blade high pass. Very proud of that. Congratulations. Enjoy it. So what basically I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and get started here in a minute. I don't think anyone's going to show up usually. I'm not pretty enough, I guess. My indexing shaft in there. Okay, so this is just for the sole purpose of holding it in place on the table and indexing this properly and lining it with the bolt holes. It also has a replacement shaft, and what the purpose of the fan is: an extremely large aircraft or a big drone. Basically, I'm kind of doing both, because the idea is that you have, for me, I'm developing a means of conveyance. We're going to start off with something quad style, but we have to get the fan metrics right. So when we do size it up, when I do get a pocket NC, which is like a nice desktop CNC machine, then I can CNC this stuff out of, you know, the proper materials like aluminum, and build the larger version, because I mean, believe it or not, there's a larger fan than this that's going to be built. So this is 340. So, you know, imagine about 680 mils. So double the size. So this is going to give me a good baseline for what I'm looking for, as far as what propulsion system, the motor, so on and so forth. So the count's always off, and I like to wait a little while before people, you know, before I start doing a lot of stuff. But hey Jackson, how you doing? We're just gonna be putting a little bit of fan together, just a little bit to get things going, because I'm using 8mm screws, or bolts, I should say. I have my index in this shaft here. We're just going to call this the outer giggity, and this is the inner giggity. So outer shaft, inner shaft. Everything's going to be run in with 8mm bolts. So the trick to this is, because you're printing with an FDM printer, you have to deal with offsets. I literally have to do this one bolt at a time, carefully, and let it cut its threads. Ah, perfect. Hopefully we'll get that lucky on the other side. We probably won't. Well, we're going to go on this side right here because I already have some of it pre-cut. Oh, okay. One on the other side, make sure it cuts. What's going to happen is it's going to push out some material, so it might raise it or it might not. It might just squish it at this point. But then I would back it out and I would take the razor and I'd go around and clean up the edges and give it the relief it needs. Okay, everything looks pretty straight so far. I never thought of me putting one of these fans together with 8mm bolts. Let's see if I back this out. That's what I'm talking about right there. It warms it up a little bit and gives us our debris that I can cut away out of there. So the bolt sits flat. And the bolt getting warm actually kind of helps out the whole process. Because you want to make sure that you're doing everything you can. And I made the pocket deeper in the thread hole that I needed to for the purposes of making sure that I didn't have to worry about any extra material getting shoved downward. Okay, so we're looking good so far. And it looks like the top of the bolt heads are going to clear. If not, there'll be a small shim that I put in the bottom of the gear case here, or the bearing hub. So that's what we're doing today. So what we do is run it down and try to be accurate. And back it out. And pull out the garbage. Because I did run threading in these holes. When I designed it, I added threading through the thread option in Fusion. But what I want to make sure of, because you're dealing with FDMs and you have to deal with offsets most of the time in printing, is that we're nice and clear on the thread. Because we want this thing to rotate smoothly. Yeah, it's going to be a monster. I've never put one of these together ever with bolts this size. It's insane. What about making one of the fan boats that they, oh yeah, you could use it as, that's the whole idea behind this project, is you could put it on a scooter, you could put it on a fan boat, you could put it on an ultralight. There's all kinds of stuff you can do with it. So yeah, the possibilities are endless. Watch, this battery's gonna run down. And I just charged it. It must be going bad. Give me one moment, I'm going downstairs. down there. So we're going to let that charge, and we're going to go on some other stuff, because I think that battery is going bad. I have to get the other one off of my impact drill, which is either in here or in the back of my car. So let me look. It's probably in the back of the car, because why would it be here where I need it? Okay, so I'm gonna let it charge, and then we'll pull that out, and I'll let that charge, and then I'll pull out, and then we'll clean the edges. But basically, I want to go over the. Now I went with these 4-piece bearings. They're 40. They're 6808 RS 2RS. So instead of running one of these bearings in the conventional size that we had, the small 170, I opted for stackables because I needed to make sure I had enough, and they didn't sell one bearing that I could find that was that size, so I got 4. And what that does is replaces this bearing around the original hub size, which is about half of that. So it's a 40 millimeter bore, 52 millimeter ID, 40 ID, 52 OD, and then 7 millimeter stick, which means it slides on perfectly so that the fan hub, and it's not going to go down because of that bolt, can engage the bearings and slide all the way down to here. And this will be where the motor is mounted, and I have stators and all that other stuff. So while we're waiting for that to charge up for just a few minutes, so I can run that down and then do the other 3. Because you want to run them in, then run it back out, clean it, and then run it back through. Because even if you do a matching thread, there's always going to be that offset that you have to deal with. And then most applications that are designed for CAD design, they usually go out to like a CNC machine. They're not friendly when it comes to 3D printing. So they're not cutting threads in the models that you make with the idea, oh, I've got to deal with a 3D printer, so there's going to be, you know, a 2 millimeter offset on both sides of the model wall. So you have to take that into consideration. So realistically, it's about letting it get warm as it goes through, pull it out fast. This just sounds bad every time I say it. And then when that's done, you clean up the edges and then ram it back home. So, but this thing being put together with 8 millimeter bolts is just insane. This is a big ass fan. I got PXD, how you doing? I got bearings, I got bolts, I got the collet for the motor intersection. I have some more bearings here for the rollers that I have that I'm putting here for the back side of the hub. And I'm going to show you all that here in a minute. So these 40 bore on the millimeter, as opposed to these for the original fan, so that they fit perfectly over that, as you saw. Not gonna put them back on yet, but what I'm doing right now is I'm charging this battery for a little bit because it's a crap battery. It doesn't want to hold a charge. Time to get a new DeWalt battery. But like I said, I think the other one I have is good. If I have to, I'll just run out to the car and get it. You guys can stare at the back of the wall over here. So let me go ahead and see if I can run that one down, because I only let it charge for a minute. Okay. Was that too close? Alright. Let it get warm. And there's the garbage. So, ow, that's warm. That's what we want though, we want it warm. Clean off the excess garbage around the edges because, as I said, we have to deal with printer offsets. And then the rest of the junk that may fall down in the bottom, like I said, the pit is actually longer than the bolt. And that helps out when it comes to any debris that got down in there. There we go. There's another. 3 more to go on that. But what we'll do is I'll display, before I do that, I'll display what's going on here. So these stacked four of the 40 mil anodized 6803s. Sorry, 6808-R2S for this size. 40 millimeter inner diameter. I speak English. Oh God, somebody press 1. And the outer diameter is 52 millimeters. So there we go on that one. And the stator, now there's the other part of this stator is on the printer right now because I got more filament in the mail. That's all because of Dave. Well, everything on the freaking table is all because of David. So everybody, give the 100%er to David for funding my insanity. Come on now. There you go. There you go. Oh, that's it. That's all he gets. All right. So this half of the stator, I'm just going to show you, is going to go here over the bearings, and that's going to keep everything in place. Now you're wondering, oh, well, what were these holes for? That's for these regular skateboard bearings. So they have dowels that I'm printing at a different angle, not straight up and down, but not vertical, but horizontal to the plate for strength. That will go over these right here. And then there's caps that I have that are going to go over those shafts. Giggity. And what that's going to do is it's going to keep the torque of the blade pulling the fan through the stator hub and keep everything in place. I also would like to say, for this bearing here, I have created a forward hub. Last night I created the forward hub in the CAD programs. I created the ductwork. I created all of the mount for the RPM sensor, and basically got everything ready so that when I'm done I can just assemble. But you know, I get impatient. Have to show you guys something, right? So basically that's the way it's going to work. So that's going to be pretty stable, I think, as fan stators go. And I think having that extra added security on the front with that hub bearing is going to help a lot, because you do have a lot of weight on this fan in the front. Looks like a wagon wheel. Sorry, ADHD. And I'm going to check out the rest of these bolts. So basically I'm going to run everything back out, and I'm going to check the bottom underneath this plate, and make sure that there's no debris that I have to cut off of the fan like I did have to on the top. So that's why I kind of want to get most of these cut at the top already, and then go back, remove everything, clean it, go from there. Okay. A lot of garbage on the top of that, which is fine. That's what we expected. Okay. Now we are making progress. Any other debris will end up down in the pit. Alright, let's use that while it's warm. Cut the other one. Takes a bit of downward force to get that going. All right. Now I did index this so I know which fan blade it's pointed to. So when I put everything back together, it won't be confusing. And now what we're going to do, it's probably going to be warm, okay? So we're going to back the rest of these out. I'm going to pull the fan, I'm going to pull the hub up. The outer giggity shaft. I'm going to pull up. We're going to clean the debris underneath. And there's some debris right there. So now, this is indexed, has an index mark on it. Yes, I have many other projects. So now we're going to pull this fan, or this outer shaft, the outer giggity, off. And we're going to check the surface here to make sure that it's free of any debris. And that I don't have a lot like jammed in there. Okay. Go through and clean up this edge a little bit. Alright, we're going to break some of that up. If there's anything there, that seems flat. That seems flat. This one might need a little bit more trimming. Yeah. Alright. I'm going to dump out any trash that's in there. So a lot of debris, just because of that offset like I had mentioned before. Everything looks pretty clear though now. So now we can go back, line up the index, like so. Start running a couple bolts down. Okay, I got 4 in, and this battery's gonna go on me again. So put those right there. Do I have any other bolts? I thought I had all of them in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. It was me to lose 2 bolts for no reason. Like they disappeared to the abyss around here. So, okay, so we got 2. Next step, after we do all this, yay, gold and silver. I love gold. So, okay. Now at this point, we'll check that. Now, I'm not going to just rely on the bolts. This fan's not going to come apart. It is basically a test run of sorts. A very large test run. So once I do get everything bolted down and I ensure everything's spinning smoothly within the hub section, then what I'll end up doing is CA gluing around the edges, but with like a light CA or a thin CA, so that it actually holds itself in place. A little bit of something right here. It's popping up on me. I think it's because there's something down in that hole. So drill's dying again. Yeah, we're gonna let that charge up again. Need a better battery. All right, hold on. Then afterwards we do this chit-chat. You know, once we're all done. The next part of this equation, however, is this collet. And this is basically what engages the keyway and the shaft of the 7070 flip sky motor that I'm using. That will be held on right there with 4mm screws. And let me see if I've got my hand drill here for that. Or my hand tool. I need a hand driver, that's what I need. I know Dave is watching, so I'm spouting off a Christmas list. It's the only part that sucks when you have carpal tunnel. And it's getting warm in here. I'm gonna have to like invest in an air conditioner or something. Or David will have to invest in an air conditioner. I do not have air conditioning in this garage. And it's not that it's too hot right now, but alright, we're gonna leave that there for now. So the idea is, I was saying it was not too hot right now, but in here it gets that way because the UV just kind of just pounds the house. So, while that battery's charging, to take those bolts out, I'm going to check the back side of this and make sure there's nothing keeping it from seating down properly. And then this index here, it will come out, and it's going to be replaced with another shaft index that has an 20 millimeter ID bore on this side for that hub that I designed that goes over that. And that attaches to the ductwork with 4 arms. And that's just for forward stabilization. And as you can see, I have a small bit of reflective tape here. That's for this RPM sensor that I've had to put together with the Arduino. And that'll mount on the forward hub that holds the bearing. So as this spins on its bearings, you'll get, oh, that feels kind of good. It's actually pushing some air. It feels good. Warm in here. Let me open up the back door a little bit. You might hear neighbors, but I don't care. Whew. Yeah, it's gonna get warm in here in the summer. So, as you can see, you can't really see the ductwork at this point. You can't really envision it, mainly because I designed it and haven't shown anyone because I'm printing it after I finish the stator casing for the bearings and the rest of the system, the fan casing that goes around the front of this. And then I have a motor mount that goes on the top. And then I also have the entire ductwork, which is designed with a frontal area for, you know, maximizing air input. So the proper angle and the proper foil design that goes around the outside of the intake of the EDF. And what else? I have flow rectification vanes set up that will have to be inserted onto each section of the ductwork, and then they will connect to the mount, and then everything will kind of bolt together. I'm not going to bolt it together. I'm going to kind of make because the way the duct is designed, I'm going to have to strap it together after I glue it and basically make it one full solid piece. If anything happens to the motor, it's just a matter of getting in there with an Allen wrench and accessing these 2 screws here, and then undoing these 4 bolts here to pull the motor mount out. So, other than that, you know, it's working out pretty well. I'm going to try and make the case to where it's, because there's slots on the inside of the motor mount for the flow rectification, and so it'll be attached to each section of the ductwork, but that flow rectifier will slot into a section of the arm of the motor mount. So it'll add more rigidity to the motor mount, but at the same time it'll give you the flow rectification. But it won't be attached directly to the motor mount. So when you take the ductwork off in the halves or in the quarters, or however, actually I've got it, I think I have it on 5 sections, I think, that'll go together. And then most of those will be glued together, you know, provided I have the angle necessary to get those flow stators, those flow rectifiers stators into their slot into the mount. So probably like 3 sections, and then I'll pull it off that way. A lot of printing to go though. So I've got 4 rolls of filament in there now going. It's probably going to take up that and maybe a little bit more. Now I am going to try and go with as light of an outer casing as possible, but I also have a stand for it. It's all going to go on this table. It's going to go on my slider that I had for the weight, so I can check the weight. We'll have our RPM gauge, we'll have our amp meter set up, and everything else ready to go, so that you can just basically, you know, spin her up and see what amps we're pulling, how many volts we've got, and then after that, you know, we'll know what our RPMs are. It'll give us some good data. This is what we're looking for. So that is basically what we have so far. And I wanted to show more, but like I can't because this battery keeps dying. My DeWalt keeps dying. There we go. I swear I couldn't see those other 2 bolts there. They're all black and it's a black tabletop. So. No pun intended. So yeah, we're getting there. Smaller bearings are going to go there. That's going to basically press up against this platform right here around the edge of the hub bearing, or the bearing hub. And then that's going to, like I said, it's going to ensure that everything stays off. Basically, the idea was, let me turn my ADHD brain off for a second. It's all in my head, hard to get out. Okay, so one of the main concerns in this type of engine with its design is keeping the fan's forward force from causing damage to any part of the assembly, including putting stress on the motor bearings, because it's going to be attached directly to the drive shaft through the collet. So the main idea is to have that roller bearing set up so if there's any forward torque pulling it this way, it has to push against this solid exterior shaft and then against the hub bearing, which will alleviate any stresses on the motor mount and the motor's shaft bearings. We don't want we want to be able to spin without having any unnecessary forces in any other directions, so that we can prolong the life of the bearings and keep the heat down. So this fortunately is right in the blast of the heat in the wind, so even though it's an outrunner, and you can't really put a fin like a heat sink on it because it is an outrunner, it's still going to spin and it's going to be in the airflow. It's going to get cooled. I've gone over the data when it comes to the power systems. We're basically running a 75 volt motor with a 150 amp ESC at 48 volts. That's going to give us close to 5,000 RPMs, 4,200 watts. So that being said, it should be plenty to spin this fan. The big test is going to be to find out how much fan resistance there is, how many amps we're pulling at what throttle, and finding out what our peak RPM is at close to the peak amps that we're pushing. Because that's when I can go and say, all right, I have this set up ready to go. How easy is it to pull the fan? Well, we know. You have to take it apart, pull everything apart, and then do an 11 blade setup and see if that helps with speed. But if we're going to go with an 11 blade setup, and that's half the actual blade forces at the tip that's going to put that load on the motor, then you want to go higher than 110 kV. So you can get higher RPMs. So you're looking at, oh, I don't know, maybe a 250 to 300 kV. But something like the Flip Sky motor, because it's designed for torque, it's designed for pushing, the weight of a human body. This is an off-road skateboard motor. So, and since I'm running it at 48 volts rather than the 75, which is rated for, I do have some overhead to make sure that it doesn't overheat. So we're going to see what RPMs we get at 48 volts. And, if worse comes to worse and I want more RPMs because I want more thrust, then I'll just get a bigger ESC that can handle a 14 cell pack rather than a 12 cell. And then get close to that 75 volts that we're looking for. It's just going to be another big purchase for David. So, Notice how I say that effortlessly. So basically, yeah, I think he's funded my insanity for a while. So that's what we want to do. We're going to start out with 48. We're going to have some data collection tools, and then we will be able to get some really good data off the 48 volt run with two 70C 2200 milliamp lipos run in series to get the 48. That'll give us 4400 milliamps of runtime, and then we'll gauge that, see how long that lasts. Ultimately, I'd like to go with two 6000 milliamp 22.2 volt packs, but that may change if we decide that the 7070 needs to go up higher in voltage, and that's going to be where we change the ESC out and go for 14S rather than, or 16S rather than 12S. So that's one of the main things. You finished it. Oh, it was from the last. Oh, okay. I don't know what you're talking. I'm going to catch up on the chat here really quick. So pardon me. I did that already. Would you not watch the videos? I got to reprint the bottom because I didn't have a low voltage warning set up, so I flew the dill drone. It didn't give me a low voltage warning, and I tried to make it back to me in time before the battery died. I should have just landed in the grass across the street, but the half of it broke. None of the electronics broke. I just had to print the bottom part again. So that's where we're at this point. So like I pointed out before, 4 of the 6808 bearings are perfect for the shaft. Giggity. We're going to run the rest of these screws out, clean up the surfaces before we mount it completely. The rest of this stuff is going to print for the outer casing, and then we're going to get that assembled. The hub is going to get assembled for the front. That will offer stability. The rollers will keep it from pulling the fan straight out of the casing. And the collet will attach to the motor. So that's where we're at. So when I was talking about assembly, this is just sort of the first phase of assembly. I've done a lot of assembly so far, which would include printing and assembling the fan in individual pieces and getting everything set up. And making sure that it's nice and tight, basically. And setting myself up as far as the hardware is concerned for the rest of the build. So now I'm going to see if that battery's got some charge in it. And before we sit down for our break and just kind of chit chat for a little while, we'll see how everything's looking. Oh, yeah, that's what we need to do. Yeah, that's what we needed. I was close. All right, let's lay this down. Time to get more refills for my X-Acto knife, David. You guys always have to be careful, man. I could have cut myself open pretty good right there. And right there. watch. And right there. I shouldn't have an X-Acto knife. Okay. Or at least I should have one sharp enough where I'm not fighting it. It is warm in this freaking place. Hold on. Yeah, it does get a little bit warm. That happens though when you... This razor's scaring me. Basically, from what I was told, is before cannabis was legal in the California, I almost said the United States, somebody had made this into a grow house, this garage. So not only did I have to do a lot of drywall repair and jeez, almost caught that one. It's so insulated for growing plants. If you shut the door in here, just breathing too long raises the temperature. All right, let me file this real quick. Take the fan. Reline that up. Realign fluid. That should sit flat now. Before I run them all the way down, I'm gonna get some going here. One I have to redo. Helps if you're going the right direction, I suppose. Which is fine. Get my thumb out of the way there. I know I had 6 in here, or 8. There we go. Definitely better. Did I not have all these in here? All right. Disappeared into the void, I guess. Actually, I may have stopped because I ran out of juice on the battery. Oh. Okay. Alright. Looks pretty decent. Yeah, I'm gonna have to because I just about took a knuckle off. Right there. I need X-Acto blades, but I went through the whole pack of refills. That's what I need. But other than that, so that's on there. So this shaft can come out, and then the shaft that's designed for this bearing, which actually has the cutout and the size for it, will go through the fan hub and the fan main shaft, and then we'll allow this bearing to sit on front of it, and then what holds this bearing right here will go onto the front of the actual fan casing, which we can't put on until I print. And then we'll have our stator on. We'll get the stator getting done tonight, and then I'll start on the fan casing. Bearings go on like this. So they're nice and snug. And there you are, so far. So you can see, I can barely spinning that, and I'm getting just great air from it. Wow. Oh, that's gonna put out some thrust. All right. So like I said, we'll continue printing that. I'll put the rest of the stator together, motor mount, and start working on the ductwork. The fan casing is probably going to come out to about, I'd like to say, about here. And then the ductwork is going to be out to about here because it has that sweeping, kind of that sweeping intake like you'd expect on a high pass engine. So yeah. Yeah, that's perfect. That is going to be perfect. Awesome. Okay, that's what these parts are for. I'm going to keep this box because I want to make sure if I ever need to do this again, I have the bearings for it. All of my other parts here. Now basically I've used, out of this pack, I can do a couple more engines, you know, if I need to. With this pack, I have 8mm collets now. I have these bolts. I don't use them all. I'm not going to use all the bearings. That's the great part about it, is you can stock up on all the parts you need just by going to Amazon and getting what you need. And the wonderful part about it is, if you burn the motor up for any reason, they're not going to question you if you send it back. If it didn't work for your application, and I doubt this fan is going to be any heavier than a person that's going to be driven by that motor. If it fails, then I send it back and get another one. So that's why I want to get all the printing done as fast as possible before the motor gets here. So I'm within that 30-day window. And that's how broke people build stuff. So, hey Buck, how's it going? Glad you're here with us today. This was just a phase 1 fitting and testing of get everything together, seeing if there's any major offsets that I need to worry about. If the fan's consistent inside the stator, it appears to be so far. Finishing up the RPM gauge. All the programming's been done, all the wiring's been done. I just have to print. I printed a case, like I said, that goes, or not a case, well, a case for the actual, I printed a case for the actual sensor module that'll sit up here on the front hub that holds the bearing. And that'll give us our RPMs. So it's gonna be beautiful. Oh yeah. Nice. The ductwork looks good too. I think you'll like it. Oh. So let's have a seat, huh? Let me get you moved. So moved up over here per the norm. Bring the table down. All right. All right. Am I in the right spot for my close-up? Yes, it's going in the recycling bag. I already know what you're going to tell me. It's what's sitting over there. So, basically, that's where we're at. At this point, it's a matter of printing. The only thing I have left to get for this fan. So we've got the coils, we've got the bolts, we've got the shafts, we've got the outer bearings, air bearings, front bearings, main bearings. 4mm, 8mm. I'm gonna need more 4mm. 4mm with these nuts. The locking nuts would be preferable. Now I know why the landlord said this used to be a grow house. I think it insulated the hell out of everything. I just need to run a vent in from the air conditioner now. Whew. It's not a grow house now, it's a shop. So, any questions so far on what's going on as far as the motor's concerned? I probably have like 2 viewers, which is fine. I don't care. This is going to be a multi-phase update. Did you see the thumbnail that I got generated from the AI for this thing? That's an AI-generated thumbnail using one picture of the table and a picture of me with my arms crossed in front of me. And it took that information and put that AI together. Now you can tell my face looks a little bit different. And if you zoom into the picture, my eyes are black. So that tells you something about AI. But it's pretty dang close to me. That's an AI-generated image. That's not real. Because why the hell would I have a wrench on the end of a turbine blade? Yeah, that thumbnail was wild. That's why I posted it in the Discord. Because I was like, this is freaky. But it was cool. I looked at it and I went, she even got the gray right in my beard out of that picture. I was like, that's nuts. So again, like I said, this is an assembly video, but it's more of a phase 1 assembly. I want to do this in lives. I thought about doing it in just longer videos. But since I'm going to have to pull everything apart to, put everything back together, I may just do one long video that people can go watch instead of doing lives or shorts and stuff like that. I like doing videos, but it's usually when it's flight time. But realistically at this point, I think what I'm going to end up doing is just do a longer video. I'll do some live updates as things progress to kind of show you the duct work and how things are coming along. But, realistically, it's going to be a matter of basically making a long assembly video to kind of show you how things went. And I may have to include some of the shorts in that because I didn't record some of the, like when I was tapping the blades into the hub, that kind of thing. But I am going to end up printing more fans that size. So basically it's, you know, you get to see it all again, at least 3 more times before I build this into the drone. So yeah, this is going to be fun. Yeah, the buy me air conditioner site. Well, I get enough. I'll take care of the air conditioner. I'll figure out a way to get a vent in here. Damn, it gets warm. So does anybody watching have any questions about what's going on as far as anything else in life? Anything cool going on? No? Y'all seem very quiet. Usually I have a troll by now. No troll though. Trolls are funny, aren't they? One thing's for certain, they don't last very long in this chat. If somebody does come in here and starts saying stuff like that Dracula dude did yesterday, and I told him, he's like, he talked back to my wife, and I was like, dude, I will reach through this screen and slap that bitch right off your face. You were talking to my wife. I'm doing good. I'm tired. You know what I did last night? I realized allergies actually exist. And I know that sounds funny, but I have huskies, and you have to vacuum the floor like 17 times a day in order for you to see your own like original carpet. And I made the mistake of using the floor to my advantage to kind of stretch my scapula, to flail it out, to stretch that muscle out, because it kind of binds up in my back, gives me trouble. And I inhaled something into my nose off the floor, and I swear I've never felt anything sting the inside of my nose like that before. It's dander from the dog. And then I had an allergic reaction, like I was like sneezing like crazy, and I felt like warm on this side of my face. And my wife looks at me and goes, yeah, that's allergies. I never had it happen before in my entire life. And I was like, I've had like the sniffles and stuff before because of allergies, the seasons and stuff. But dang. She goes, yeah, that's a pet allergy, and that's from the fur. And yeah, it hurts. It stings, and you feel awful afterwards. And I'm just barely getting over that. And I realized, like, this is the first time in my life I've had an allergic reaction to something like that. And it actually hurt. It's like a man cold, Women can handle a cold, clean the whole house. Men have a cold, they're on life support. It's what we do. When you bear the weight of the world, the cold will bring you down. But yeah, trolls, I usually get trolls in here, but they don't last long. Like usually a troll will go into a live and just try to ruin the whole stream and set a whole bunch of people off. And man, for some reason they run for me quick. I mean, I shut them down. And I don't do it by like getting upset at what they say, because that's what they want. I just basically tell them the truth. I said, your opinion's welcome here. You can say whatever you want. It's not going to bother me at all. You can throw out an insult. I'm not going to care. I'm not going to read some of the stupid stuff you put in the chat for me to repeat, because that's what you want me to do. You want recognition because you were held too much or not enough as a child, or you're a Biden. So maybe you're into that. But the point is, they don't last long with me because they don't bother me. They come here and call me whatever they want to call me. Say they hate my design, say I'm stupid, make fun of people in the chat, and I'll be like, how does it feel to be a lonely dick? You know? But yeah, trolls don't last. And that's why I guess they avoid my channel at this point. Because like this time, I haven't had any trolls at all. Of course, I also don't know how many viewers I have either, so considering that horrifying rendition of me looking like Thanos behind the chair trying to put a fan together with a wrench, the AI thing did. It's a terrifying picture. Just a quick stop by to say hi. How you doing, S3? How's it going? Hope you're having a wonderful day. Everybody hates today because it's Monday. But every day for me is a weekend. Because I'm retired Army and don't care what day it is. Hell, the only reason why I realize it's ever a Sunday when we get there is because, you know, I check the mail and there's nothing there. Like, oh yeah, it must be Sunday. But yes, the purpose of this live wasn't to, you know, do too much more than have, you know, just show you what's going on with the fan and then just kick back and chat a little bit and see how things are going. Yes, Buck, haters have to hate. And I think you wait for them, Buck. I think you're like, there's one. And then you like ag them on. And it's like, it's funny because you'll say something and then, I don't know, it's just funny to me. But I think it's funny because it's like somebody walked into the wrong room because all the people I know are on here that support me. As soon as a troll comes in, it's like everybody jumps them, you know. And then I'm like, just be civil, you know. We don't want them to like go away crying and then report or something like that. But it'd be a little hard to report me when you run into my channel and say something extremely ludicrous. I think they'll go back and see the chat and realize what you provoked. So typically that's what happens. I don't know if I've ever heard of that brand of printer. What's going wrong with it? Is it a standard additive manufacturing printer? Is it like a desktop printer? Is it an industrial grade printer? Does it print with plastic, welding wire? What does it print with? Bug just smiles. He knows. I would look up the printer, but you know, I have no way to do that right now. Because I'm currently live. A laser printer. You talking about for? Okay, it's a laser printer. So you're talking paper. We're talking large format, like banner type stuff. You're getting an error code. I keep waiting for a punchline here. I'm sorry. Laser toner. Okay. And I might be setting myself up, but what's the error code? Yeah, it kind of depends on what you're printing. I kind of need a little bit more. That I want to help, but that's like bringing your car in and saying, it's broken. Here's the key. I can't see it, so I can't, you Oh, okay. You have a small newspaper and it's a large printer. You know, I think I know which printer you're talking about. We used to, is it the one where you print out the negatives first on the film for the press room? I used to work at Manteca Bolton, so I know how I've used that before, I think. Yeah, there you go. It's negotiation time. 40101. So is this a printer that prints negatives? That uses toner. Okay. I was using a different printer. I was using a printer that would give you the negative for the press room. So you'd have the silver coated paper, and then it would go through and expose everything from the file, just like making a photograph. Well, a large laser toner. Yeah, 401 sounds like a feed error. Dust on the rollers probably, or a piece of paper that's in between the feed tray and the print area. So it's showing a jam even though you pull out the first piece, but the other one's mangled up in there. I'll tell you, there's a movie called Office Space that teaches you how to deal with a laser toner printer. It's fairly comprehensive. There's only a few tools necessary. If you watch Office Space, you'll see. Other than that, as far as the code goes, maybe somebody in the chat can help you. I can't look anything up at the moment because I'm using both of my devices to stream right now. Or I'd be happy to look it up for you. See what I can find out. As an engineer, and dealing with printers, what can I say about paper printers, especially laser toner? I hate them with every fiber of my being, especially working at Manteca Bulletin. And the girls up front will be like, they'll mess up the printer and they'll come back to me and they'll be like, "Can you fix it?" Like, what'd you do to it? It's not printing. Well, did it hit print? Oh, it comes up with a code. It's an error. We don't know what we're doing. And I'm like, I put together ads and then I put together the plates for the press room. I don't know if I can fix your printer. I don't want to go over there and say, yeah, this is the problem. I'm not trying to be your savior or anything like that. Not you specifically. I'm talking about my experience at Manteca Bolton. But they get mad at me because I wouldn't do it. And, I have to call the tech support to get it fixed. I'm like, yeah, you do that because you're not paying me enough to give a damn. Oh, if it's the diffuser unit, you might as well just get a new printer. Yeah, I don't deal with those laser printers anymore. I mean, but rolling them down a steep hill is fun. Or usually large amounts of tannerite will fix them. Yeah, I would just pull the thing apart and check and make sure all the contacts don't have any toner on them. That could be part of the problem. Clean all your connection points. The kids are playing Phasmophobia again. As soon as I leave the computer in the house, I just like, on a work computer, they just jump on it because it's got like, you know, it's designed for CAD work, so it's good for games. Yeah, because you, in a lot of those laser printers, you have, like Buck was saying, you have a silicone lubricant that will, if there's any toner leaks or anything like that, it'll just grab it, and then eventually it just gums everything up in there. So check connection points, any of the roller gears, any of the rubber rollers at all, to make sure there's no toner on anything, because what it could be doing is, 401 to me sounds like an alignment issue of the paper. So it could be the fact that the rollers aren't lining the paper up correctly to be indexed before printing. I wouldn't say it's harsh. You're going to get to that point, though. Once you get it fixed, you're going to be like, go get some tannerite. We're going to fix it right now. Well, to be honest with you, now I'm so curious I want to look it up. What's the model number of the printer? I'll look it up later. See if I can't figure it out. Well, yeah, that'd be fun too. Just make sure you film it. Yeah, if you give me the model number, I'll check it out. The one thing I've been really good at doing in the past is accidentally fixing stuff. Pro C5100S. It sounds familiar. I mean, I was at Antigua Bulletin, so I know we had one similar. It's just one of those large scale. Ours was a large scale wide format for doing banner pages and stuff like that. I don't know why they had one so big, because we were just printing the size of the paper for testing, you know, an unfolded regular newspaper. So that was what the diameter was, but this one was like 4 feet long. So yeah, but it was different. It was full color and had, you know, it's a CMYK, obviously. So yeah, we had to deal with that crap. Then we were dealing with old Macintosh computers running the software we were running to actually make the ads. And I had to personally go through and switch everything to CMYK because they couldn't figure out why their colors weren't going through right. And I was like, you got to design it in CMYK. You can't do it in RGB. You could. There's an email in my channel page. Send me a picture. I'll see what I can do. And I'll get back to you and see what I think might be the issue. I didn't go to engineering school for nothing. Should have gone when I was a little bit younger, but I was in the military. So that's what I was doing first. See, Buck has some experience with paper printer failures. Don't they make you love the technology? I mean, it's like, you just want to hug them. You know, you want to hug the printer. You're like, you're my best friend. Thanks for ruining my entire fucking day. Yeah, that's how they are. Trust me, I remember the problems I was having with the first FDM printers I was running with. When I had to go cheap because I didn't have a lot of money, so I had a couple of A-nets. You know, like the very first A-net printers. Now I'm not even using, they're junk now, so I'm just using the bottom of one right now for my linear slide for my engines. Put at least the bottom of the printer to use, right? Right, bud. That's funny. So, not surprisingly, I'm sure I didn't get very many views on this live, but the idea is just basically was to kind of introduce you to the assembly process and how things are going so far. I am doing a lot of printing right now. David, I'm trying to save the white filament for the parts you need for the blinds. So I'm starting with the blue. It doesn't matter because I'm going to paint it white anyway when the stator's done. The outside of the main fan will be, you know, the black as far as the ductwork goes. The internals I'm not too concerned about as far as paint. But the fan blade did come out nice with the black and white. You know, that beautiful black and white PETG. So yeah, they came out pretty. Came out good looking. So we're getting there. Not more print hours, that's for sure. More print hours than I can even fathom at this point. But the Bamboo Lab printer, best thing in the world, man. I'm telling you. I've 3 times tops I've had to change the hot end because of it actually wearing out or malfunctioning twice for the extruder. And that's within 3,000 hours of print time, if not more, at this point. So it's lasting like it's supposed to. Haven't had to change or replace any of the print plates or anything like that. Using the textured PIE plate right now, or PEI plate. I use the engineering plate when I'm doing some smaller parts that require high heat, like nylon 6, stuff like that. Typically it's the PEI plate. Oh man, you gotta do one. How many do you have to print out? Like, what's your print count? Like, what numbers were you looking at? And how long does it take to print? I can't imagine it takes long. Yeah, but I'll remember that printer name, and then I'll check it out and see if we can group think this thing, right? See if we can get it fixed. Go from there. Other than that, anything else going on? You guys are doing tonight? EXD, is it going to be nice and chilly where you're at tonight? Ooh, that's some volume. 3.5 hours with 2 printers. That's pretty quick. So yeah, I'm betting any kind of jam sets you back for a little while. Well, on the other side of that, you're only looking at 7 hours, 7.5 with errors to print everything on one printer. So knowing that, at least you can go in and prepared. So yeah. Worst comes worst, you can't get the printer going, just start it 4 hours early. Yeah, I don't like the heat. Where you're at, I imagine it gets warm. But at night, you said it drops pretty quick, so that's got to be fun. And you, at least you get to see all the stars. We got to worry about light pollution. Down in the Icky Valley. Never wanted to get out of a state so bad in my life. And I was born here. It's like, I don't want to be here. I want to be somewhere else. I want to be somewhere where it's cool all the time and I can see all the stars and it gets good storms and some snow. You know? Not just the random summer hailstorm out of nowhere that lasts 8 minutes and then dumps 3 inches of hail. And then that's it. That's your storm. But on the brighter side of that, the storms are getting a little bit better. We had a tornado last week, I think, or a week ago, go through the town next to us and tear up some stuff and a whole bunch of trees out of the almond orchard. Well, you have a good night, and don't drink too much whiskey in the hot tub, or no one will be printing anything. Be careful. Like wear floaties or something, you know? Good Lord. I need another drink. Tea. Nothing alcoholic, of course. Would you pardon me for a moment? You can stare at that and try to figure out what it all is. I'll be right back. Refreshing to the last drop. They're not affiliated with me whatsoever, but they deserve a free commercial from me. Buy Pure Leaf Tea. I don't know why. It's just really good. It says no artificial sweeteners. So how's it extra sweet? What we got in here? Total sugar, 59 grams. No artificial sweeteners, all right. Oh, there's no protein? Really? Serving size, 1 bottle. I've had 2. I'm so bad. 220 calories, which I probably lost just standing over there when it got warm. Tell you what, when I'm spinning up that fan, I'm going to be in the house, out of the direction of the kinetic energy of those blades. Because, I mean, let's face it, it's kind of big. So I think the last thing you want to do is get hit in the face with one of those blades. I have got to be out of my mind. It's so much fun. Freaking rotator. So we'll get that stator done. Then we'll do the casing, yeah, actual blade casing. And then motor mount. I'll do the roller shafts to hold the system together. And then after that, ductwork and flow rectification. The stators I put in there. It's going to be interesting, I think. So spinning this up is going to be one of those things where you're like, my fingers are crossed and I'm terrified. But I've done as much science for the build as I can to get the numbers. We're probably going to hit around 6,000 RPMs, which is a decent speed for a 340 millimeter 22 blade high pass fan. I don't know what the thrust is going to be. The thrust calculation through, doing you got to do the blade measurements, how thick they are at the tip, what's the pitch, all that other good stuff. And I had to do that to design everything, but now I got to plug it into a CFD to see if it can, or run it through a CFD through Fusion and see if I can't get some thrust data out of it that way. Let's see what happens. But it's going to move some air, that's for sure. I think it barely half throttle, if that. I'll get a good hover out of 4 of these on a drone. And yes, I'm going to build a drone out of them. I have a 170 millimeter version, which is a little bit, smaller, about half the size. And I'm doing a drone out of that, but I also wanted to do a drone out of these. So figuring out how much material it takes to print it. I have enough hardware for the most part to put the rest of them together. And then after that, it's just about having 3 more of the same motor and 3 more ESCs and 6 more batteries. Or 8 total more batteries, because I may change it up to 6,000 milliamp batteries for a longer runtime. But with the volume of air that's going to move on a drone style platform, that's going to be scary. If you see if anyone's new here, if you go and check out the Shrike concept drone playlist, you'll see where I started with EDF drones. So yeah, it'll be run by a SpeedyBee F405. And the power distribution board will be a Tero 480 amp. because the max amps per motor is 100, and you're looking at 80 amp overhead, which is good. Each one of the ESCs has a 150 amp, so it's got 50 amp overhead on that. I'm running a 75 volt motor at 48 volts to start. That's going to give me some overhead as far as heat dissipation is concerned, depending on how much blade force we're talking about, because there's going to be a lot of force, a lot of torque to have to power through with this kind of blade pitch. But I think it's going to but it's going to be, it's going to put out a lot of force. It's going to move a lot of air. We're not looking for a massive amount of RPMs. This is only six times smaller. This is a 1/6 scale of the Pratt & Whitney turbofan engine that was used, I believe, in the SR-71. So this is only 6 times smaller than that. So if I were to pop 2 of these in a big SR-71 model, I could probably hit Mach 1. So yeah, that'll be fun. But realistically, the idea is if I can hover a drone with 4 of these motors and then see how much lifting force it has, then we're moving forward for more of that data collection that I need. Because all of the stages that I went through, from the original Shrike to the larger stubby fan motors, all the way to the stubby Ultra here, it's all been a learning experience as far as developing different types of gear ratios, learning how to CAD things that will work with an FDM printer and have the same offsets as a CNC, because eventually it needs to be done in aluminum when I get to my large scale. And the idea is just to, come on, you see me in the field with this thing taking off. I'm gonna have to haul it on the top of my car to even get to where I'm going, so I can test it. It's not gonna fit in the car. I don't have a truck. It'd have to be a big truck. So yeah, it's gonna look funny enough, me riding down the road. Let's turn it on while we're in the car and see if it lifts the car up. No. That'd be funny. But yeah, no, it's gonna look funny going to the field with this thing strapped to the top of the car, because there's no way it's fitting in the car. Not a quad with 340 millimeter EDFs. Because you're not talking, that's just the size of the blade. You've got the duct work and the stator casings and everything else. You're looking at 400 millimeters at least in diameter for each one of the engines, and they're going to have to be set a specific distance apart in an X quad formation. So it's going to be freaking scary looking in the air. I'm going to have to make it look all like, make a Predator body or something out of it. Like an amalgamation of sort of more organic flowed type of body, where it mixes the alien from the movie Alien and the Predator with locks and stuff like that. And just the glowing eyes and lights everywhere. Everyone's going to freak out. When they see it, they're going to be like, a UFO! If my drone ends up on the news as a UFO sighting, every one of us who knows what it is right now are going to be laughing our butts off. And I'm going to be so proud. I'm going to be so proud. All I want to do is make the local news. Fly it around town. Just high enough up where they can't identify it, but low enough to where all the lights on it are scaring the living out of everybody. They're like, we're gonna get abducted. I'm gonna put a big old spotlight on the bottom. It flies over somebody and then a light shines down. Some speakers where it makes the fake and they're gonna be like, no, I don't want to be abducted. Alien attack. That would be funny. I gotta do it now. Now I have to. I've said it, I have to now. That'll get some decent views. Wouldn't it? You look out your window and see a drone that's like 5 feet by 5 feet. And it looks like a huge predator head with the alien head attack, like just something organic, and then lit up like with some PETG, some clear PETG, and a bunch of Arduino. I'll make it look organic. They won't even notice the blades. They'll be like, "What is that thing?" Oh yeah, yep. Then watch. There'll be a whole. Then Amazon Prime will come out with a new alien sightings show, just because of that. They make alien sighting shows out of everything. Look, a shooting star. But what could it really be? You know. It'd be fun though. I think it'd be hilarious. Who agrees with me? All right. Hearts if everyone wants to see a UFO. This becomes the UFO. It gives me the data collection I need as I build it. The extra added weight will be good because it'll give me more data on what it can push. And I'll just put together sort of an elaborate body with a lot of clear PETG and some organic design that scares the living crap out of everybody. Even like Arduino, like rubberized tentacles hanging down that are all illuminated, getting flapped around by the wind and everything. Scare everybody. Oh, that'd be funny. I've given myself more and more ideas and a longer shopping list, David, so be prepared for that one. A lot longer shopping list. Because I just gave myself an idea that they'll probably arrest me for it. I mean, I was under 400 feet. You can't do anything. And 400 feet's just high enough for people to get clear video, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. I think that's what we're doing. I need the data collection for this drone, so we're gonna do a UFO flight. Just far enough outside the city, obviously, so it's safe, over an orchard, stuff like that. And then we'll see what happens. If I get a news helicopter or a sheriff's helicopter or both, I'll be happy with the outcome. But I will be obeying all flight laws and staying well away from commercial aircraft and below the 400-foot mark that the FAA has designated for non-commercial hobbyist flight. So, just so you know. And I'll be flying over a vacant field. It's more about line of sight. So whoever's seeing it from the city will be like, whoa, what's that? So I'm going to be safe about it. Don't worry. I'm not going to try and I'm not going to do anything to put anybody in danger in a plane or a helicopter or anything like that. I'm going to stay below the flight parameters necessary. And since it's going to be under the weight of anything that would need to be registered anyway, it's going to be fine. So just a hobbyist thing. So I think that'll be fun. But for tonight, I think we'll wrap it, and then once I get some more printing done, you'll see some more shorts as things progress. And then we'll do, obviously, we're going to do either a live spin up or I'm going to do a premiere video spin up. I'm not real certain how I want to do that yet. I haven't done a premiere yet. But we'll see if I do a premiere, and then because once I fly this thing, it's gonna be fun. So when we do the premiere on the spin up, it's gonna move some air. I'm gonna have to make sure that my phone's far enough away where it doesn't get sucked into the thing. So yeah, I'll have to roll the table out towards the middle of the shop, chalk all the wheels on the table, and then go into the other room. Then I have my camera on my PC out here, so I can go in there on the PC and watch it and spin it up from there, and be, in an area where I'm not going to get hit by any plastic if something happens. So we've got a firewall here and a fire door, so any plastic that comes off, if the fan does go, it's gonna hit that and not hurt anybody. So that's my main concern. Make sure I don't hit anything. Dare I ask why? How are you, DJ? Do I even want to know why you were expelled? I am going to tell your mother. Not going to tell us why? He's going to come in and just say that. That's it. Come on now, man. We need a backstory. There's probably a delay on the chat, but hopefully he'll give us a backstory. That'll be fun. Let me guess. You misgendered a toaster. That's my guess. Is that why you got expelled? You offered a vegan a Slim Jim. Is that what it is? Somebody got offended? I'm just throwing stuff out there because he's not answering. Let's see. What else? What else could DJ get expelled for? Well, people must call him DJ for short, so he's known in the school for being a prankster. You put an airbag under the teacher's seat from a car. No, that would get you more than expelled. Come on, backstory, man. Come on, DJ, don't leave us hanging. We're all here on the edge of our seat. Just, all right, DJ, what happened? I think he's gone. I think that's it. I think DJ left. I think I got expelled for some reason from the channel. I don't know. I didn't do it. We want the story. That's what it's about. We want the story. Not just this happened and then nothing else. And yeah, I know I'm giving you what you want. You want me to mention you. You want me to say your name. You want me to ask what happened. That's what it was all for. So, deliver. Yes, I said he must have misgendered a toaster. You know, you gotta be careful. You got those toaster furries running around. But we're still not getting backstory, so I'm disappointed. That was I don't know if that was meant to be a troll, but I have a heartfelt desire to know why you were expelled. and what the toaster did to deserve it. Yeah, we'll make up our own backstory. So DJ went into class, saw the toaster and goes, "Ah, there she is." And the toaster got angry. I said, I'm not a girl. I'm a male toaster." I'm like, "No, you're not." "How do you know?" "Because you stick your bread in me. That's how it works. So we know you're a girl toaster." So, DJ, be careful when dealing with toasters. They're very sensitive. But stay away from the toasters with the septum piercings and the purple hair. Because all you gotta do is wind them up and watch them go. They get mad over everything. Yep, those toasters with the purple hair and the septum piercing. That's when you typically know what you're dealing with. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Tell us what's going on. When I was a kid, if I got expelled from school, I was like, free weekend. I get that a lot though. People jump in, say something, and jump back out. Yesterday it was funny because one guy tried to do some trolling, said something about my wife, and I think I scared him. Because he left. I still have friends, man, in the military. Go ahead and talk down about talk back to my wife in the stream, and I'll have a satellite over your house in a few hours. Yes, Kyle, I believe we've seen that reel, most of us. But it is a true statement. It is very true. It's just tobacco. Just tobacco, don't worry. It's the other pipe that you have to worry about. So, we got a fish. Is it like a statement like you want to go fishing, or you've been out here forever and you got one finally? It's a cool name. Yeah, women in this day and age, I'm so glad that I have been blessed with the wife that I have for the past 16 years. Because in today's market, you never know. You never know. I mean, back in the day, they used to like rebrand stuff and try to sell it and change its appearance a little bit, but you knew it was bullshit when you bought it. Nowadays, it's like, how do you not expect us to know? We're gonna know, okay? It's like Michelle Obama, okay? You seen her from the back? That's like Muhammad Ali walking away from you. Okay, you can't tell me that Michelle Obama is a woman, okay? Because that dude's built. And I know I might tick off a few Democrats or whatever, but I don't want to offend anyone. I want to offend all of them at once. Yeah, Michael. I saw a reel. You know that reel where the girl's laying in bed, she's looking over at her guy and going, he's thinking of the girls, and he's going, I wonder how many turtles I can fit in my backpack. You know, that's how men think. And then in the one where it was Michael Obama and Barack Obama in bed, and and Barack's bubble said, I bet he's thinking of another girl, and he's got one over his head over here. It says the same exact thing. So they're both, so the reel's them in bed, and they're both thinking, I bet he's thinking about another woman. That was the best one I'd seen so far. But man, I'm telling you. Whew. Then we thought everything was going to get better with the next president, and then who showed up? The only man that can defy gravity up the stairs while falling. And I mean, I don't see how you couldn't fix the economy and make the world a better place if you're able to fall up the stairs. That's a superpower. You know? That's a serious superpower. Fall up the stairs, like not even once, like 3 times in a row. Just, and here I am thinking at any moment he's just gonna fly away. Yeah, it was just, he fell asleep everywhere. I mean, the stuff they put him through, I almost feel sorry for him, because you knew he wasn't running the country. There's no possible way he was running the country. And we know Hunter wasn't helping out, because he was friggin' running away from the friggin' crack monsters, like all the time. And we all remember the story of the cocaine in the White House in this blurry image, like the most secure place in the entire world. They're not going to have a camera that noticed who brought that in and set it down on the table. That's okay. We'll fall for that BS for now. We already know you lied to us, so it's no surprise. You was a Newton fan? I'm telling you. Everyone thinks things are bad because of the stock market, but they don't understand what's going on. And I find it funny that they try and blame the economy on Trump. Because if somebody sets a house on fire and then takes off, and somebody else shows up to report it, you don't blame the guy reporting it. You blame the guy who started the fire in the first place. And I'm sorry about the previous administration had so many dumpster fires out there. It's going to take a while to put them all out. And think of what all the money was going. You notice the Democrats aren't upset over the corruption in the spending. They're just mad that we found it. You know? And they're just upset that we found the money in the first place, because Adam Schiff, he's Adam Schiff for brains. Basically, he's just mad because he can't make his mortgage, you know? And man, that guy's a piece of work. Like any other person in government on that side, be robbing you blind and then telling you, I'm not taking your money. Nope, I'm not taking any of your money at all. It's Trump that did it. He's not even in office. Yeah, that's how it went down. Then they just got pissed off because we took all the power back. But the Oval Office, the House, the Senate, everything. And now they're just mad about it. He's like, you can't tariff people, so you want people to keep robbing the United States, but you think that us doing the same tariffs, is a bad thing. It hurts the economy. Anyone smart in the market knows that if you've been watching any of his policies, you dumped any overseas assets and started investing in American assets, because that's what Trump's doing. He's forcing companies to bring their manufacturing to the United States to avoid the tariffs to begin with, because it saves them money. So if you're invested in foreign markets, then you should have been smart enough to see what was coming. You should have been like, okay, well, we know this company is going to make this move. Let's put our stock into that one instead of the one that's going to lose out in China because it's moving to the United States. Another company is moving to the United States that produces the same product. But no, they just want to be like, oh, they're all doomsayers. It's so bad, everything's so expensive. Everything was expensive before Trump took office because of Biden. I mean, I don't even see why Anthony Fauci's still walking around a free man. You know what I mean? That's even if he still identifies as one. Who knows? Next thing you know, it'll be Antoinette Fauci, and he'll be hiding off on Epstein's old island. It's a joke. Whole damn thing. It'll get fixed. The market has to drop far enough for the Fed to drop the rate. Then it happens, everything levels out. It's just the way it works. Yeah, I've always wondered that myself. It's like you look at anything and it's all made in China, and that's what sucks, because like some of the engines that I use, I have to get, they're made in China, but they're sold here, and it's like, why do we not have a factory here? I mean, we might, but I have a few, but majority of the electrical components for drones and things like that, they're all none of them are made here. They're all imported. And it makes you wonder what it says on the tags in China, like made around the corner. Yeah. That's what I think it says. Made around the corner. Yeah. And I tell you, social media's got everybody programmed. They see everything you see on there. It just seems like that's where everyone's getting their news now. That's the main source, is that existential crisis rectangle that you guys all own. And everybody's got one because you have no choice, because they've made it to where it's almost impossible to do anything anymore without one. So, yeah, I mean, it's like you're constantly, next generations are getting fed with just total BS. They're like, well, it says here on the internet. And I said, well, you know what? I was around before the internet, and I know better. Yes, before the internet came out, me and my pet T-Rex would go out for long rides and enjoy the sunset. That's just the way it is. Yeah, I love it when they try to bring up what's on the internet, because anybody can get on Wikipedia and make shit up. So it's just insane. And the views I get, to be honest, with the views I get on my lives, the views I get on my shorts and things like that, and my videos, it's sad. It's sad. And the reason, a lot of it's because I'm sort of have niche content. I'm still doing the drone hobbyist sector in a sense, but it's not that, the high speed FPV where it takes off so fast, it screams through the air, and that's the thing now. And I'm thinking to myself, my anxiety level would be through the roof trying to fly that thing. I don't see how the hell that would be fun. So no, slow go cruising, man. I want a big, FMS 3000 millimeter glider, the Fox, so I can just kind of cruise and have some fun. and then build these big things here to fly around, knows that that's going to be fun. And then you've got people jumping in and saying, well, what's the practical purpose of that? I said, why does it have to have a practical purpose? It's fun. You know? It's not like you go to a friggin' theme park and go, you know, that's a great roller coaster, but what's the practical purpose of it? You know, it's just, those are the people who are just, those are the ones, those are the cannots. They can't, so they're just going to hate on people who can. And I try to welcome in who I can so that I can say, look, even if you think you can't, I'm going to show you that you can, and you can have some fun doing it. And I try to make it to where everything that I do build is readily accessible through stuff off of Amazon, so that you can just get the STL files and then go build whatever you want. Because I've already done the research, I've already paired the motors with the ESCs, I've done all the legwork when it comes to the design on the CAD, so I have all the STLs, and that's what I'm trying to do. You know, it doesn't matter to me if it's not, you know, the super fast tiny little FPVs you're flying through with goggles and stuff like that, and yeah, that's great and all, but I'm doing something a bit different, and that doesn't seem to be interesting to anyone. But I guarantee you'll like the Shrike drone playlist they have, the Shrike concept drone, because that was my first sort of dive into EDF powered drones. So that's where the data collection started. And I was understanding how to program the SpeedyBee F405 wing to work with EDFs and to work with them, you know, well, especially considering the amp draw I was having to deal with. I had to design a system that could handle, you know, 400 amps of draw without overheating. So that was a challenge. And after I got done with that project, I went on to a few more, but then realized I needed bigger motors. But bigger motors were more expensive, and that kind of was to the point where, you know, you're looking at $1,000 for a pair of decent 120 millimeter motors. So if I was going to do a drone, I'd have to drop $2,000 just on the motors. I'm thinking, I'm not going to do that, so I'm just going to build my own. So I started doing the research, designing the blades, designing the fan, designing the casing, and then experimenting with turning a turbine engine into an electric-driven turbine engine, and finally have a design that's, I believe, is going to work well. And then it just grew from there to where I went from you know, I need a 100 millimeter motor all the way up to a 340 millimeter 22 blade high pass. So yeah, it's kind of gotten a little out of hand, but it'll be fun. I don't know. That's kind of, I don't think I can answer that question. I'd have to look that up. Why you'd want to hijack one, I have no idea. But I think there's some laws against that. But this is ELRS, so unless you have the passphrase that the transmitter and the receiver have, you're not going to hack it. That's just all there is to it. Because in order to pair an ELRS system to the transmitter, it uses an encrypted passkey. So it's not gonna, you can't hack it. Hey, Gibbets, how are you? I don't know if I can translate that. I can see what you're saying. Nope. No idea what you're saying. Somebody run that through Google Translate. Looks Russian, so. Anybody? On to Google Translate. Anybody tell me what they're saying? Sprechen Sie Ruski? Come on, really? It looks like my friends are back that I flashbanged before for trespassing. Let me know if they go on the property. And then if they do, get the 37 millimeter out. You're asking for a friend? Yeah, you should have included that in the first sentence. Yeah, my dear, if you're watching, make sure that there's nobody getting on the property. If they are, get the 37 mil. That sounded like the 3 guys that I had to fight in the street last time. They acted like they wanted to fight, but they wouldn't get off their bikes, even though I told all 3 of them, I'm right here, you know. They're riding dirt bikes on the property, you know, that I've got across the street. And they're not supposed to be on there, obviously. So, I flashbanged them. And they got mad. I'm like, well, why'd you do that? I'm like, first off, it was in the air. And it was to get your attention because you couldn't hear me yelling at you to get off the property over your loud ass bikes. So they surrounded me in the middle of the street and were like, you know, talking smack. Like they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. So they told me, oh yeah, put the piece down. I'm like, it's a launcher. It's like a 37 millimeter launcher, like for airsoft. It's not a piece. So I went ahead and handed it off to my son and walked back out into the middle of all 3 of them. Said I'm ready. And they didn't do a damn thing. Not one of them would get off the bike. The oldest one there, who I thought would have been smarter than the rest. Because you had one young one, which I'm sure they were setting a great example for. You had one older one with a scraggly ass beard who is, in a hoodie. Like that's supposed to somehow be intimidating. And then you had one that was a straight up Karen with a backward cap on. Just a dude that was a straight up freaking Karen. And he wouldn't shut his mouth. He was like one of those girls that just will not shut the fuck up. You know what I'm talking about? It just straight Karen. I'm like, I wanted to tell him, like, you're a dude. Would you shut up and stop acting like that? But they all threatened me and were revving up their engines, and the guy's like, oh, I'll get off and throw hands right now. I'm like, okay, do it then. I'm standing right here. And they wouldn't. The most I got out of them is, I'll be back. I'm like, okay, Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know how many times I've heard that from somebody who got pissed off at me for kicking them off the property? Nobody ever comes back. They never do. It's disappointing. Because sometimes I miss war, and it's kind of close to that. When you're doing straight hand-to-hand. And, I don't know. I guess they thought because they saw the beard, they thought I was an older guy, that they don't realize who I am. So, they want to make threats, but then they don't make good on them, Don't. That pisses me off more than you threatening me, is not following through on that threat. Because I'm ready to deliver back to you what you got coming. And if you're going to open your mouth, follow through. Follow through or just puss off, and quit talking crap, because that's all you are is talk. And they prove that over and over again. So they'll run by every once in a while and they'll rev up the engines. Doesn't bother me. I get a little excited thinking they're stopping, trying to start some more trouble. Because I'm just like ready for it. But yeah, they're just a bunch of idiots. Some people are mean because the world is evil. For the most part. Oh, what do I mean a flashbang? It's basically a bird banger. It's for scaring off pigeons or birds or whatever in your orchards, and it's in a 37 millimeter launcher, like a flare gun almost, but it's 37 millimeters, and I launch it into the air. It scares people off the property sometimes. And then some people get mad and come at me with like a stick or something like that, and then they don't realize what the 37 millimeter is attached to until they get close enough, and then they change their mind really quick. Yeah. You see how tough they are when that happens. Because I got a family to protect, I ain't messing around, and I don't trust people, especially thugs like that, who are just a bunch of idiots, who are looking for trouble. If you're looking for trouble at my place, I hope you got insurance. That's just all there is to it. Because, like I said, I got a family to protect, and if you don't think I will drive your dick into the dirt for going too far, test me. Yep. Use several 40 mils. Overseas. Love the 40 mil. I love the flashbangs they have on those because they're way more powerful than the ones I've got. And I can set the detonation range. If it's raining, you love rain. Yeah, the 40 mils are great. I wish I could get one, but not in this state. Closest I can get is an airsoft friggin' style 37 mil. Luckily, I'm creative. So, if they get too close, they get a sandbag. And I hot load those sandbags so much. You see somebody fly back 10 feet getting hit by one of those. It's like, go ahead and roll up on me, I don't care. Pull out any kind of weapon. I'll go hand to hand until you pull out a weapon. And then, even then, if it's just a knife, I'll still go hand to hand. Because I'm going to take that knife. And I'm going to add it to my collection. For work? Lucky dog. Yeah. Yeah. Give me some 205 Sabos. I'll give you the coordinates. That's kind of an odd question. I would assume it could. I wouldn't suggest trying it. Yeah, that's a concerning question. You don't own a nail gun, do you? I feel like I have to warn the people around you. You might be able to cross that. Okay, fine. You got an ICBM? Okay, you don't have a nail gun. Okay. Well, if you ask yourself the obvious question of whether or not they're lethal, they can push a nail through a 4x4 in a millisecond. So, 16-inch nail. Or not 16-inch nail, but like a 6-inch or an 8-inch nail. So yes, they can be lethal. So please practice caution when using a nail gun in any manner whatsoever, because you can injure yourself or others. So be safe. That's the only public service announcement I'm going to give you tonight. If I see you in the news, I'm going to be like, ah, I know that person. Oh, man. Yeah, don't do anything dangerous with stuff like that. That's the moral of the story. Don't do things that are dangerous. Meaning, don't do things that are going to get you hurt, like trespassing on my property, or threatening me or my family, or anything like that, because it won't end well. And I'll be honest with you, I'd feel really bad about it too. Like last time I got into a decent fight, I'm always afraid that I'm gonna go, hit somebody too hard. So I kind of hold back. And that's only if somebody's attacking me. Yeah, this is a self-defense thing. And this happened a while back. And, I decided, okay, I'm not gonna do anything. The guy's talking a lot of crap and pissed off at me. He was looking for a fight. And, so I said, well, I'm not gonna say anything. And I'm like, he was like mouthing off about the chair I was sitting in, really, because he wanted to sit there. I'm like, dude, look, if you're gonna whine like a little bitch about it, you can have the chair. Okay, so I got up and I started to walk away, and he pushed me, or tried to push me, and sort of knocked me off balance. So I knocked his arms back out of the way, and I came back with a right cross. And I cracked his entire orbital socket, and I think he almost lost that eye. But I felt really bad about that, And the people around me who knew me there, they were like, "No, don't stop!" And like, this was on base too, so yeah, I had to go. I think I got an Article 15 for that. He came to me first, though. So I was just doing what I was told. Don't do anything unless they come at you. They put their hands on you, defend yourself. So I did. I defended myself. I didn't think I was going to defend myself that well. But I had just got out of Fort Benning. And I just didn't realize how much strength I'd acquired being there. You don't really notice it until something goes down. And I felt bad about it afterwards because I did a lot of damage to him. I hit him with a barbell. That's how much damage I did. And it was just my fist. And I felt bad, so I try to avoid fights when necessary, just because I don't want to accidentally end anyone. But if it comes down, in the civilian sector, obviously, if it comes down to my family, you don't know who's carrying what nowadays. You got kids carrying, weapons and stuff. So if an adult comes up to me and he's obviously like pissed off looking for a fight, he's either gonna have some kind of weapon on him, or he's just gonna have a mouth. If he just got a mouth on him, I'll just shut it up for him.
But if he's got a weapon, that's a different story. The outcome is going to be messy. So, yeah, we'll just leave it at that. 1,000 ways to die. Oh, you're talking about you saw it on a show. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I've been in a couple of fights. I don't look for them. They usually just find me. And because I'll try and I'd rather tell someone, hey man, I don't know what you're going through or why you want to start something, but I'm a God-fearing man, so I'm like, hey, just tell me what's up, what's going on, talk it out. I talked one guy off the property. He had a weapon in his hand. So I drew mine, and I got him off the property and took his weapon. And I told him, I said, what are you doing, dude? He's like, oh, I think I see my girl in the apartment complex or something like that with another guy. I'm like, and you're getting ready to do something stupid. I go, why don't you think about that? I go, what's the outcome? We were getting ready to come to blows at first, but I talked him down. I'm like, look, I know you're all heated because of what you think you're seeing over there, but you got to ask yourself, if she's doing that right now, is it even worth you getting in a fight over it and going to jail, because they're going to put it on you? So just walk away from it. And if she wants to call you or get back in your life or whatever, they're like, look, you do it once, that's it. That's all I need to know about you. And then just walk away. So he finally cooled down a bit and said he was going to his mom's to sleep it off. I'm like, well, that's a good decision. Just don't come back on my property. So if I can avoid it, I will. Just because I don't want. It's not going to be. It's not a status symbol for me. I'm secure in my manhood. I don't need to prove how tough I am to anybody. I'd rather help them through whatever they're going through, rather than them act out aggressively, try to calm them down and figure it out. If it doesn't go that route and they want to get busy, then, I'm your huckleberry. That's all there is to it. So, but I don't like it to go to that. I don't. It's because I just, I have a fear of not being able to gauge my strength right, to where I'm not going to severely injure somebody if they attack me. And even though they might intend to do me harm, the last thing I want to do is really cripple them for life or injure them for life, or do something to them that they're going to have to live with. Because I'd feel bad, because people go through stuff. Just be careful who you take it out on. So I try and talk them down. I try to be cool with people, that are just, trying to start trouble or whatever. Laugh it off. Sometimes I make friends out of the deal. Sometimes I make enemies. But it doesn't matter. You're gonna wipe out the continent? Why would you do that? I do not condone this action of wiping out a continent. Unless it's Iran. Iran kind of deserves it. Yeah, they deserve sunrise at 3 a.m., don't they? try to sit back and act like they're not doing shit, funding terrorism. Oh yeah, Iran's in some serious trouble, and that's why we parked a bunch of B-52s in Greenland, because we're just like ready. Ukraine. I don't know if I could. I don't know if my back can take another war. Although I do like the cold. And yeah, it's gotta be rough over there right now. Are you having a fight, or are you trying to survive it? Like are you in the military there? Are you a civilian? Or I guess all of you were fighting at this point, military and civilian. Yeah. Farthest I went that way was, I went to Australia before I went into the military. Oh man, that's gonna suck. Watch out for those drones. Well, that says war is good for the economy. As sad as that sounds. I'm not rich. I wouldn't mind a war. I'm just designed for it, I guess. It's just in my blood. Do they help? That's not what you need, man. You need to get net launchers. Like, just take some 40 mils, strap them together, hook them to nets, like big nets, so they spread out when they go out. Catch the drones. Just use net launchers. I mean, if you guys are worried about drones, that's what you should be doing, is launching the nets at the drones. I'm not sure how far I can get involved in your war. I think there might be a YouTube policy against it. Yeah, sorry, man. I wish I could help, but I hate to see people having to go to war over politics. $10. Hey, you have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. But yeah, I wouldn't get involved in any conflicts like that. I'm trying to be a hobbyist at this point. I did my damage in the war. So, but that was 20 years ago, you know. more than 20 years ago now. Time's going by so fast. It is more fun, yes, than war. I like metal work. That's what I need is a good welder. Why don't you just give up all that over there and come here? I need a good welder to help me put together an aircraft grade chassis for this drone setup I'm building. I'm gonna be flying around. Something I can ride to the store in. Come set up shop here in the garage and just start helping me weld together a chassis. Yeah, I bet you have. This would be a fun one though. You could ride around in it. That's my ultimate goal. Basically, you take a quad, like a mud quad that you would ride, right, and replace its propulsion system, i.e., wheels, engine, stuff like that, with large EDFs. So at a specific RPM, you can maintain a hover just above ground using ground-facing sensors to make sure you always stay at that level. So you're riding it like a quad. And then in the event you wish to go above the traffic, you can. That's the kind of thing I want to do. Drop the address. I don't know, man. I don't know. You're cool and all, but I don't know if I can drop the address. Hey, Gal, how you doing? You made it in just in time, but we are just about to wrap up here in a minute. You passed it! Yes! Awesome, dude! That's awesome. Good work, man. I told you could do it. Only if you bring a tank. Because that's the only thing I don't have. Just bring me one tank. We'll put it in my driveway. See if anybody trespasses across the street after that. There you go. Bring a T80 and park it in my front yard. People be walking up to me and like, you know, because this is like gangs and stuff around here, and they're like, you know what kind of neighborhood this is? And then you'd be jumping out going, you think this is a bad neighborhood? You know, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'll take a T80. I'll take that. I'll take it to the store. I guarantee you I'll find parking. Good Lord, what kind of people am I attracting here? Yeah, why buy it disarmed? Where's the fun in that? No, now I want the T80 just so I can roll around town in it. Imagine rolling up to a stoplight I'm sitting there in a T80 just going to the store so I can grab some milk. Yeah, I think I'll find parking too. I mean, like, there's cars here? Where? Oh, they're under there. Yeah. Say it's decommissioned. It's going to a museum. They'll let it through. Although we don't know what the tariff is going to be on it. What's the tariff on a T80 tank? Good Lord. I can't even buy a car for that here. A decent one, anyway. Well, it looks like my next car is going to be a tank. You bring me a T80, I'll give you a Chrysler 300 with a Hemi in it. How's that? 5.8 liter. You know. Tons of horsepower, 22-inch rims. I didn't put the rims on there. I don't like them. I'm not a 22-inch rim guy, but somebody gave me the car. It's fast, though. You turn off the traction control. I'll trade you a T80 for the Chrysler. Oh, what ammunition? Let's see. Well, definitely armor piercing. 11 incendiaries. Those are nice. A couple of starbursts so we can light up the sky and scare the crap out of people. You know, bring a mixed bag of fun. Just smoke? No tear gas? All right. Bring a couple of each. Enough to keep me busy for a while. Yeah, I told him he would. I told him he'd pass it. Oh, you got smoke launchers? Those are off the side though to shield you, right? So somebody can't get like so. I never understood how that worked because we have that too. We have the ability to deploy smoke from the tank if we need to. Unless you're talking about just like launching out into the battlefield for cover. Some of them dump smoke to try and hide themselves, and I keep thinking to myself, if you're targeting a tank and they drop smoke, you're still gonna know where they are. It's just all there is to it. I'm still thinking about that tank. I want that tank. I'm sure I can make it street legal. We'd have to put some like brake lights on it and stuff. And you know, a few other accoutrements. Hopefully it passes smog. Yeah, I figured it was for cover. They have brake lights? Probably not turn signals though. Do they have? Don't tell me you got turn signals on a T80. Floodlights in the front. loudspeakers so you can talk shit to the people in front of you. Gal, what machines are you working on? Yeah, JBL. That's what I'm talking about. You gotta put some LEDs in there and a bar. You know, have a drink while you're going. We're like in the tank, we're just chilling, listening to 50 Cent, you know? Oh, todavía. Oh, yeah, exactly. Lights on it and everything. Oh, yeah. Put some speakers in there. Get that music thumping. They don't take it through the ghetto over here. That'd be hilarious. Oh, you were giving me ideas, man. I'm telling you. Now I'm gonna be looking around at like decommissioned sites here in the U.S. and it's like, are there any tanks I can pick up? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We'll just have to rebrand it. We'll put like a Toyota logo on the front. That way we're cool, you know. They don't give us any trouble. You know, this is a new off-road Toyota. This is not a tank. It's a family vehicle for recreational purposes. Civic. Yeah. We just raised it a little bit. All right, guys. It's getting late. I'm going to get in trouble. But I do want to show you, lastly, before we do, let me unplug this. It's gonna yell at me. Oh, hold on. Okay.
I wasn't finished.
Yeah, I don't care. All right. Let's see. We know where we're at with this so far. That's done. Stuff's on the printer right now. I'll give you a short and an update of everything as I go, and keep you in the loop until we spin this thing up. It'll be set up on this table for the spin up, and this is the smaller versions of that, the 170 mils, front drive and rear drive. And then of course I have to fix the bottom of the dill drone. It broke. But other than that, I hope you all had a good time hanging out, checking things out. But you know, keep up to date. Click the bell for notifications if notifications actually work. Subscribe if you haven't already. Go to the links on my homepage or my channel page. I'm on Facebook, Patreon, the Buy Me a Coffee link, that kind of thing. And you can find some bitter coffee at a link on there, the breakfast and bread link. That guy sends me some good coffee right there. He's also sending me something that I'm going to wear on stream. And I threaten to wear only that, nothing else. So you'll have to, you'll have to wait for that stream. Other than that, this is where we are. This is where the madness happens. So to everyone, have a wonderful evening. I thank you all for being here. And I will see you again soon. You have a wonderful night. Don't forget my T80. I'm going to be waiting for that. See ya.